The locked room at the Lighthouse. What kind of room stays locked for 20 years, in a building nobody officially owns anymore? The old lighthouse keeper's cottage at Salt Cove was decommissioned in the early 2000s, folded into the town's small maritime museum as a storage annex. Most of its rooms have been catalogued, photographed, emptied out for exhibit space. Except for one. A narrow door at the top of the spiral stairs, second from the lantern room, has remained locked since the week Elena Marlowe disappeared. For years the town's explanation was simple. Almost boring. Storage, structural damage, liability. Nobody pressed the question. Because in Salt Cove, questions about the lighthouse eventually led back to Elena. And Elena was not a subject anyone brought up voluntarily. Then, 3 weeks ago, the museum's new curator, a woman with no personal history in the town, hired specifically because she had none, found the original 2004 facilities inventory in a filing cabinet nobody had opened in over a decade. Room 4, it read. Contents. Personal effects. Deceased tenant's daughter. Do not disturb per family request. The room had never been storage. It had been sealed intentionally. At the family's own instruction, Detective Grant Ellery, reviewing the reopened Marlowe file, called this detail the first hard evidence that the family knew this wasn't a simple drowning. His exact words, recorded in his case notes: "You don't ask a museum to seal your daughter's room for 2 decades if you believe she's resting at the bottom of the harbor. You do that if you're afraid of what's still in it." When the room was finally opened last month, under the supervision of the reopened investigation, what investigators found was not what anyone expected. The room was untouched. Yes, a narrow bed, a windowsill lined with sea glass, a corkboard still pinned with photographs faded to sepia by 2 decades of salt air. But tucked beneath a loose floorboard, wrapped in oilcloth to survive the damp sea climate, was a small wooden box. Inside it, a stack of folded letters, none of them ever mailed, and a single brass key that matches no lock currently known to exist in Salt Cove. Thomas Marlowe, Elena's brother, was asked directly whether he knew about the box. He did not deny knowing the room existed. He did deny, twice, according to Ellery's notes, ever going inside it. "I told them to seal it," he reportedly said. "I never said I needed to see what was in it." Some doors you lock because you already know. It's a strange thing to say about your own sister's bedroom. Strange enough that Ellery flagged it twice in his working file. The letters themselves have not been made public. What has been confirmed, through a source close to the investigation, is that they were written in Elena's handwriting, addressed to no one, dated in the final 2 months before she disappeared, and that at least one of them references a name that does not appear anywhere in the original 2004 police file, a name the family has never mentioned. Not once in 20 years, to police, to reporters, or to each other. At least not where anyone could hear. The brass key raises its own question. Locksmiths consulted by the production team confirmed it does not match the lighthouse's own doors, the family home, or any structure currently on the Harbor Authority's property records. Which means it opens something that either no longer exists, or was never meant to be found by anyone official at all. Salt Cove's mayor, when asked about the room's discovery, gave a brief statement. The town supports the investigation fully and has no further comment while the matter is active. It is, notably, the first time in 20 years the town's local government has issued any statement about Elena Marlowe at all. For 2 decades. This room sat 2 floors above a lighthouse beam that still, to this day, guides boats safely into Salt Cove's harbor every night. Nobody who walked past it knew what it held. Nobody who knew what it held was willing to say. Now the box is with investigators. The letters are being analyzed. And the brass key, small, ordinary, worn smooth on one edge as though it had been carried, not stored, sits in an evidence bag, waiting for someone to finally admit what door it was made to open.